You know that feeling when you look up at the night sky and you just feel connected, like you're part of something absolutely immense and ancient? For most of us, that's just a passing thought. But for one man, well, it was his life's work. He didn't just study the cosmos, he taught us how to feel it. This is the story of Carl Sagan, the voice of the cosmos.
And for Sagan, this wasn't just some poetic line. This was his core belief about all of us, about humanity. He saw us not as a species stuck on one little planet, but as natural-born explorers about to take our greatest journey. And really, this one idea, it powered everything he did, inviting all of us to finally set sail.
So, who was this guy? Well, yeah, Carl Sagan was an astronomer, a professor, an advisor to NASA, but honestly, more than any of those titles, he was a translator. He could take the ridiculously complex language of the universe, physics, biology, astronomy, and translate it into this story of pure wonder that absolutely anyone could get lost in.
What's just so incredible about his journey is how it unfolded. I mean, from a kid in Brooklyn obsessed with science fiction to a top professor at Cornell. And then, with his show Cosmos, he was suddenly in the living rooms of nearly 500 million people. He became one of the most famous scientists on the entire planet, and it was all driven by this deep desire to share the sheer thrill of finding things out. This idea, which came from his book, The Demon-Hunted World, is so central to who he was. Sagan kind of saw all of us as being adrift in this huge ocean of confusion and bad information. And for him, science wasn't just a collection of facts. It was a way of thinking. It was a candle we could all use to light our way through the dark. But Sagan didn't just want us to look up. He wanted us to reach out. As one of the key figures in NASA's Voyager missions, he got behind one of the most hopeful, most audacious projects in human history, literally sending a message in a bottle out into the cosmic ocean. No, seriously, stop and think about that for a second. If you had to create a portrait of our entire world for some alien civilization, what would you even include? What sounds, what images, what ideas best represent all of humanity? This was the unbelievable challenge that Sagan and his team decided to take on. And this is what they came up with. The Golden Record is basically a cosmic mixtape for the whole galaxy. It's got the sound of a mother's first words to her baby, the music of Chuck Berry, and get this, even the electrical brainwaves of a person thinking about love. It's this beautiful human message that just says, hey, this is who we are, this is our home, we hope you're doing okay. You see, for Sagan, exploring the cosmos was always about exploring ourselves too. His biggest insights weren't just about distant galaxies or alien planets. They were about our deep, fundamental connection to everything out there. And this right here, this is the crucial point. As much as he was looking outward, his focus always came back to Earth, back to us. He was using the entire universe as a giant mirror to show us something absolutely essential about who we are and where we came from. And there it is. That's not just a beautiful phrase. That's not poetry. It is a literal scientific fact. The very atoms that make you were forged in the heart of a star that exploded billions of years ago. We are, in the deepest sense possible, children of the cosmos. The universe isn't just out there, it is literally inside of us. So, what did Sagan leave behind for us? Well, his legacy is kind of twofold. First, he gave us this humbling new perspective on our place in the universe. And second, he left us a set of real, practical tools for how to think clearly about our own world. Okay, so picture this. It's 1990. The Voyager 1 spacecraft is 6 billion kilometers away, right on the edge of our solar system, and Sagan asks NASA to do one last poetic thing. He wants it to turn around and take a picture, a sort of family portrait of the planets, including our own tiny, distant world. That picture, the pale blue dot, inspired some of Sagan's most powerful words ever. He just forces you to confront how absurd all our conflicts are, how full of ourselves we can be when faced with the reality of the cosmos. Our entire history, every triumph, every tragedy, it all happened on that little speck of dust, just floating in a sunbeam. And this slide just perfectly captures that shift in perspective he wanted us to have. Down here, we're obsessed with the lines we draw on maps, our empires, our nations, this constant us versus them. But from out there, all those lines just vanish. There are no nations, there's just a planet.
It's not us versus them. It's just us.
But look, a new perspective on its own isn't enough. Sagan knew we needed practical tools to navigate the world, so he gave us his baloney detection kit.
This is basically a user's guide to thinking clearly. Don't just accept what someone tells you, ask for the evidence, think about other possible explanations, especially if they're trying to sell you something, and be willing to be wrong. In today's world of just endless information and misinformation, these tools are more vital than ever.
When you boil it all down, I think this was Sagan's real genius. It was his ability to connect the absolutely colossal with the deeply personal. He took the unimaginable scale of the universe and didn't make us feel tiny and insignificant. No, he made us feel connected. Precious, even. This quote just nails that feeling perfectly. It's a paradox, right? Yes, on the grand cosmic scale, we might seem like nothing, just a tiny world in some forgotten corner. But in that very insignificance, we find our importance. Because on this pale blue dot, we are everything. And that's really the question Sagan leaves us all with. If we truly, deeply understood our shared cosmic origin, if we accepted that we are all, quite literally, cut from the same stellar cloth, would it change how we live? Would it change how we treat our fragile home and the other collections of star stuff we share it with?